Welcome to Lighting for Profits with Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What's up? What's up? How you doing? Welcome to the number one landscape lighting show in the world, Lighting for Profits, here on Turfs Up Radio. I am so excited to be here. This is going to be such a cool week. I'm excited. I hope you guys are doing well. If you are looking to start or grow a landscape lighting business, then you are definitely in the right place. We are live on Turfs Up Radio, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and of course, we'll be on all your podcasting platforms this evening. So I'm excited. One of the reasons I'm super excited is because it finally has come to the point where this week I'm going to be in Tampa, Florida at the Holiday Bright Lights event. Havana Nights. I can't even remember, but I'm just excited to be there. Holiday Bright Lights is putting on their holiday kickoff event. I'm going to be down there with a bunch of other people, and it is going to be awesome. I'm so excited to get to know new people, see people that I already know, and learn a bunch of new stuff. I'm really looking forward to this event. So I'm hoping to see you down there. And that's this week. So I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And as a reminder, make sure to subscribe to the podcast, because when you do that, you get faster access. In fact, I upload the podcast every Tuesday night, and you get instant access to it, whereas everybody else, I think, has to wait a day or two. Not even sure if that's true, but I think that's true. So, and I wanted to give a quick reminder too. I have a lot of people requesting access to Landscape Lighting Secrets private Facebook page. And unfortunately, it is not available to everybody. It's only for paid members of the Landscape Lighting Secrets coaching program. So I apologize, but I cannot let you in unless you join the program. But I do have a free Facebook group that does not require you paying me anything, and that is called Landscape Lighting Mastermind. So if you're looking to join a group, if you're looking to take part of some of the action, then search for Landscape Lighting Mastermind in the private Facebook group. And wanted to start the show, guys. I'm super excited. Today, our guest is a guy who actually does not have a landscape lighting business, is not a manufacturer, is not a distributor. So you might be like, what the heck? Who is this Dan Platta guy? And why is he on Lighting for Profits? Well, guys, I met Dan. I'm not even sure. It's been a couple months. And this guy is the real deal. And when I met him, I'm like, dude, I got to go introduce myself. I got to know this guy. I've got to have him in my network. And they say you want to surround yourself with people that you're going to become the average of. So he's a guy that if you could be in his group, you'd want to be in his group. And owns a lot of different businesses, not only helping like homeowners out, but also helping business owners out. So he's going to be awesome to have on the show. He's got a lot of value that he's bringing with him. And so I'm super excited to have him on. And he is going to come on in just a couple minutes. And, I stopped watching the news, but I will read it on, I don't know where I read it on. Facebook. Is that where you guys get your news from? But I hear things, I guess, is what I hear. And I'm like, wait, someone went to space? So then that's what I did. I Googled, I heard Jeff Bezos went to space or something. So I Google it and I'm like, oh, sure enough, look at this guy, the Amazon guy. Apparently he's an astronaut now. It's like, okay, people are now astronauts. Jeff Bezos went on a nice little 10-minute flight to space, and someone actually paid him $28 million to go with him for this 10-minute flight. And I mean, that's got to be nerve-wracking, having a guy that started Amazon build your rocket now. And you're just like, all right, here's 28 mil, 10 minutes. All right, that's worth it. And meanwhile, you've got the other rich guy. There's a few of them. The Virgin Atlantic guy. They have 600 people that have signed up to pay them $250,000 for a 1-hour flight to space, which honestly, I mean, compared to the Bezos deal, 28 million for 10 minutes, 250,000 for an hour seems like a bargain, right? So it's all about that price positioning. But it reminds me of, just pricing. And it's like, man, people are willing to pay crazy amounts for crazy stuff. And I remember when I started selling landscape lighting, I was blown away. I mean, I wasn't blown away like $28 million for 10 minutes blown away, but I was still like I remember my brother told me his first couple jobs were $4,000. I was like, what the heck? Like, who pays $4,000 for landscape lighting? Like I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know it was a thing. This was in like 2007, 2000. This was actually in 2008. Well, it was in the process of moving down there and stuff like that. And by the way, that's not that long ago. That's only 13 years ago. And I was talking to someone the other day, and I realized a lot of people think I'm a lot older than I am. There's this group that thinks that I did lighting 20 years ago, and I'm this old man or something like that. It's like, oh man, like I cut my gray hairs out. I shouldn't look that old, but apparently I do. But no, I sold my business in 2019. So it's only been 2 years now that I sold my business. Had my business from 2008 to 2019, and experienced a lot of really good stuff, a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures, a lot of learning along the way. But I did learn one thing that's super important, and this is one of the easiest things you can do, and it's increasing your price. It costs you nothing. It does not cost you anything to raise your price. And so I want you guys to do this. Like, you don't need to hire me. You don't need to pay and hire more employees. You don't need to do more training. There's nothing you need to do. All you need to do is increase your price today by 10%. And this is even for you. If you heard me say that 6 months ago and you raised your price by 10% then do it again, right? You can kind of keep doing this exercise. But when you raise your price by 10%, this does magical stuff, because a 10% price increase is going to add 20 to 40% to your bottom line, which is nuts, right? So if you're like, well, I'm already charging a lot in my area. I'm charging $250 a light, which, by the way, that's not that much. But that means you got to raise your price by $25, right? So now you're not $250 a light, now you're $275 a light. You might think a couple things would happen. One, you might think, well, I can't afford to do that. If I do that, then I'm not going to close as many deals and I'm going to lose customers. So no, I'm going to keep my price the way it is. No, thank you. I'm just going to do that. But honestly, that's not what's going to happen. But let's just say maybe that's what happens, right? Well, because of your increase in your margin and your profit, you can actually afford to lose 20% of your clients with just a small 10% price increase. So if you lose those clients 20%, now instead of working Monday through Friday, that means you get to take one day off. So take Fridays off, go to the lake, go do whatever you want, and thank me for pushing you to raise your price, because now you're making the exact same amount of money in 20% less time, right? But unfortunately, that's not what happens. You don't get to go to the lake, because what happens is people actually value you more, and they're like, heck yeah, let's do this. And so you actually end up making more money. And when you make more money, good things happen. You can afford to buy a higher quality product. You can afford to take more time on a job and not try to get it done in 6 hours, 8 hours when it requires 10. You could give raises to your employees. You can hire more people, right? And I always talk about hiring your replacement. Sometimes it takes kind of a small village to replace one business owner. Sometimes it takes an office manager, a salesperson, maybe 2 salespeople, maybe 3 installers, maybe a maintenance truck, a lot of different people. So you've got to be charging accordingly. And finally, charging more, raising your price is going to allow you to take care of your clients the way that they deserve to be treated. And I remember telling this to people sometimes when they would tell me like, well, your price, you're twice as high as the other guy or whatever. They had some type of price objection. I'd say, listen, if you think that by going with the other guy, if you think that he can deliver the same, service and level and everything that we're doing for that price, then why are we still talking? Like, just go with it, right? But obviously, that he can't deliver. In fact, he can't even afford to answer your phone call if there's an issue, because he's charging so little. And it's not just his fault if you decide to move forward. It's also your fault, because you're expecting him to be able to afford to offer the red carpet, the white glove service that we offer for a fraction of the price. And we all just know that that's not possible, right? And so I would say that just be confident, raise your price, and know all these awesome benefits that are going to come out of it. And just stop fighting it. A lot of people are just like so resistant to change. Just like, stop fighting it. Stop. Just do it. Right. But it's honestly, this is one of the easiest ways to grow your business because you don't have to do anything but raise your price. You literally, you don't have to do anything. Right. And, Dan, he's going to come on in just a couple of minutes. He's like, he knows the numbers way better than I do. So we should probably ask him about this stuff. But I'm looking to pick his brain and see what he has to say about some of this stuff. And I do hear a lot of people say, well, I'm just not there yet. I can't charge those prices yet. I'm too new or whatever. And my question to you is like, well, when can you? Like, there's no lighting Bible that says after you've completed 2,500 or 2,500 jobs, now you can raise your price, or now you can do this, or like there is no limitation. Like, you are a business owner, you're selling custom landscape lighting packages. You can do whatever you want, right? It's all just comes down to you and your mindset. So in most cases, we're the only ones holding ourselves back because our clients will pay. We just don't let them. And so seriously, my question is like, what are you waiting for? There is no threshold. You don't have to prove it to yourself or anyone else. And I'm not asking you to go from, 200 a light today to 500 a light tomorrow. Like, just test it out with a little 10% price increase. And I think you'll be surprised. And one final tip when it comes to pricing is I need you to really price like who you want to be, not like who you are. Because you might be going, man, why do I need to raise my price? I'm making good money. It's just me and I pay a couple guys, whatever. But honestly, that's not going to last forever. If you want to be able to afford to hire salespeople, office manager, more installers, be able to afford all this stuff, you have to have money in the bank to pay for that, right? So go out there, raise your price, make some more money so that you can afford to be an entrepreneur and not just be self-employed anymore, right? So again, like I said, just price like who you want to be, not like who you are. All right, guys. There's my mistake of the day. Started to play the wrong thing. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to welcome our guest, Mr. Dan Platta, to the show. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Hey everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of The Green Veteran here on Turf's Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's The Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey, lawn and landscape pros, don't turn your lights off after fall. Turn on the lights and start making money during the holidays this winter. Twist on a money-making bulb and join Turf's Up Radio at the Holiday Bright Lights Christmas Kickoff 2021, July 29th through the 31st in Tampa, Florida. Increase your experience through networking. Learn on-site about RGB and Twinkly Pro technology. Meet decorators and leaders in the holiday light industry and much more. Don't be left in the dark. Learn how pros all across the country have already started making more money after fall with Holiday Bright Lights. To register, visit holidaybrightlights.com/Christmas-kickoff. That's holidaybrightlights.com/Christmas-kickoff.
Aha! Yeah! Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review. The Weekend Review.
Join King Darren and all of your favorite Turf's Up Radio hosts, including Heculus, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, Brian.
My name is not Brian.
Ryan Lee, Wayne the Prophet Bowles,
One opportunity.
his son Daniel, Brooke Ford, the Green Veteran,
Giddy up.
and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turf's Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Yeah! Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio. And I want to welcome my guest, Mr. Dan Platta. How you doing, Dan?
I'm digging the soundtrack, Ryan. I need some badass tunes like that on my little show.
We can talk. What's funny is, I have to produce this thing and figure it out, and I still don't know what I'm doing. There's only been one episode where I haven't screwed something up, and this was not it.
It's fine. It's kind of like when you're leading a team and showing vulnerability is a good thing. Like you need your team to see you fail at stuff so that there's some vulnerability. You can't be totally bulletproof. Just like that, your audience, increases respect for you out of your candid screw ups. I thought it was perfect. I thought you nailed it. It was almost like you planned it.
Well, at this point, they know that I'm not perfect. Let's just say that. So I did want to remind you, this is, it's not the only live radio show podcast, I'm sure, but it's one of the only ones. And so anything you say can and will be used against you. There is no undo button.
I'm used to that. I like it that way.
So I want to talk to you, and I'm super excited to have you on here. So thank you so much for being here. I met you. Yeah, no problem. I met you at Clippa, which was in St. Louis, I don't know, 2-3 months ago. And Dan gets up to give a talk, you guys. I'm like, I don't know anyone in this room. I like sitting in the back, and I get in there kind of late or whatever. And Dan like cracks this beer open, and it's like, all right, morning or whatever. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. And he gives this presentation. At that moment, I was like, man, this is going to be epic for one reason or another. And dude, seriously, I was like, man, he figured out how to talk about numbers and not make it boring. So congratulations.
I was going to say, I don't know what the secret recipe is, but it starts with a beer. It's part of it. And then you kind of got to make the rest up from there. If it was too scripted, then it would fall apart. It just can't be that way. It's got to stay, mobile and keep you on the edge of your feet.
Well, you kept my attention. So, that's not easy to do.
It's not easy. Whenever you're nerding out on numbers, keeping anybody's attention is not easy to do. That's like part of the challenge. It's part of the fun.
Yeah. Well, you're a smart man. You got it figured out. So let's talk about your background. The reason I wanted to have you on here was for actually a lot of different reasons. But one thing that I admire about you is, man, you figured out a lot of stuff. And I don't know how old you are, but you seem like maybe 17, 18,
Yeah. Just popped out of high school, got out a couple years early. I don't know if I've figured out a lot of stuff, maybe, but I've sure as hell screwed up a lot of stuff. And that's like where you really start getting into the weeds and figuring stuff out. So I'm awesome at making mistakes. I'm all about it.
Well, that's what we need to do, is talk about some of those mistakes and help us avoid some of those. But one thing I really do admire is you've got like multiple businesses. So talk to me about your background. Like what was your first home service business? You don't have to go all the way back, but kind of in recent, whatever, like what was your journey? What did it start with, and where are you at now? How many businesses you at and stuff like that?
So let me just on a personal journey and how I got here. I spent about a decade in the corporate world doing accounting, doing like financial trading and hedging and risk management stuff, and then doing some strategy and business development and mergers and acquisitions. So I come from a nerdy math background. I've always felt like I didn't know how I was going to make math work. But when I was in college, I was like, well, at worst, I'll know how to manage my money. So if I get this finance and accounting degree, the worst case would be that I understand how to manage money. I would just need to go figure out where to make it from. But I just started to get kind of burned out on the corporate vibe. And so just so happened to be buddies with a guy that bought a little window cleaning company called Blue Skies Window Washing back in 2011. And he was my financial advisor at the time, and he fired himself on me. And I was like, well, that sounds freaking cool that you're doing this entrepreneurial thing. Like, keep me posted. And so over a couple of years, we started talking a lot of strategy stuff and acquisition stuff, because that's what I was working on. So we started buying some other home service companies. We eventually started one. And through that process, I was ready to leave Cargill where I was at, and he was ready to go on and do more like turnaround type of stuff. He didn't want to stay running a business. And I was like, well, I know a guy that'd like to run a business and wants to get out of the corporate world. So I came in and we we had been very acquisition heavy for a while. We bought 3 different window cleaning businesses, I think 4 or 5 different home cleaning businesses. We don't still have all of those investments. Like a good investor, sometimes you got to cut your losses and figure out when it's not the right investment. Usually better done before you do the acquisition, but sometimes you got to do it after as well.
I don't know. I've always gone with the ignorance route too, and it works pretty good sometimes.
Well, I mean, like you got to learn anything, you just got to throw yourself into the mix. If you're sitting there waiting on your price increase, every day that goes by is another day that you're not running the best business you could be, and you're probably going to screw it up, and that's okay because it'll be better than where you left. So
let me ask you this though: how did you decide to just go rather like you said you were acquiring companies? Why, like most people are like, well, I don't have the funds to do that. I'm just going to go start in another location. How did you decide to do that model versus then starting from scratch?
So we totally accidentally we bought the first window cleaning business because a business broker that we had previously bought a background check and tenant screening company from, which we no longer have. We exited that industry. We were running that business, and the broker came by and was like, hey, I have this window cleaning business that like for X, Y, or Z reasons needs to sell, and it needs to sell now, and you can probably get it for next to nothing. And so that was the play. We can buy a window cleaning business for next to nothing, and if we just go clean a few windows, it will pay for itself. So it was purely a financial play at the time. We ran it for a little bit. We figured out some of the marketing, and then we realized like, oh, this is purely just capacity and demand. Put money into marketing, go hire some people and spit money out. And if we can scale this thing, which we thought we could, maybe we can even do it in more than one location. I will say where we didn't have operating model respect was in going to those other locations. And Ryan, you and I had talked a little bit about that before we came on the show here. If I had to do it all over again, I would have spent way more time growing the location we were in and probably offering more services here. It's easier to leverage. Well, I'll say this. The trades that we're in, we do window cleaning and power washing and exterior cleaning services. Haven't started lighting yet, although when I saw you at Clip, I was like, ooh, like this might be my next thing. And we do maid service as well. The thing that scales in our industry isn't our expertise on our craft. We might know a trick or two or a thing or two, but generally anybody in the United States that wants to, live the life of an entrepreneur could go get into one of these industries without too much of a path of resistance. So like going to another location doesn't scale that well because you can't go provide expertise at that location. You're basically starting fresh with a skill set that a whole bunch of people already in that location already have. You're just going and consuming part of the pie. That slowed down our growth pretty massively. We'll probably do about 4 million this year across our companies. But we backtracked for a little bit when we took all these businesses on just from an operating perspective. If we could do it all over again, I think we'd try to grow more in one location and offer more services in that location because you can scale your brand, your client list. You can, and you and I talked about that a couple of weeks ago, how you can use your existing client list in an existing business and launch another service so easily off of it. In hindsight, we would have done a hell of a lot more of that than jumping around to other locations. But I will say, as with any like awesome mistake that you make, Blue Sky's admin services that we do wouldn't exist had we not had to try to figure out an administrative service model to run multiple businesses in multiple locations. And now we have hundreds of clients that we get to help run their businesses. So I don't regret it, but I would do it differently. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. No, I got a lot of those don't regrets, but would do differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many businesses do you have right now?
Depending on, I have 6 different legal entities and some of them have like different divisions. Like in our admin service business, recruiting and bookkeeping are really like 2 totally different services, but our clients are all the same. And we can share some back office and like infrastructure stuff. So it's one LLC, but it's really two pretty distinct divisions, if you will. So I'll say 6. 6 is a good number.
And have you found you've been able to do that? So you're in one market and you do window cleaning, and then in the same market, you open up a new division of whatever, and whatever that is, tell me, and then you just send out like market to those existing clients as, hey, guess what? We're now in the XYZ business. Has that been successful?
We only actually did it once. And we did it now, like if we wanted to roll out holiday lights, which is a really easy extension of window cleaning, like we did that. We have a little operating conflict of like busy seasons, and the busy seasons overlap exactly within Minneapolis when we're busy on exterior stuff, right when holiday lights are happening. So we have a little bit of conflict there. The first thing that I did when I joined Blue Skies, besides like kind of taking over the leadership of the company, was tried to build out our model of how do we start something from scratch off of an existing client list. So we started a maid service company off of our existing window cleaning client list. It definitely scaled faster. I'd say we got to like 300,000 of recurring revenue in a couple of years, which is pretty quick from a recurring standpoint in the residential maid service industry. The problem was it couldn't get my full attention. And so it spun its wheels a lot, whereas somebody that was just running that business could have pushed on it. And this lesson applies whether it's a launch of another division like that or a launch of another location. You can't scale yourself. And it took me 5 years to realize that I am probably not that good of an operator, and there's somebody better than I am and that has more time and more passion about a specific thing or a specific location. And so for a long time, I kind of viewed myself as the CEO of all these things, and I had to be in the loop on this and I had to be in the loop on that. And it's not scalable, and it's super stressful for me. It's probably worse for my wife. I kind of like the chaos. She's just like, what are you doing now? Like, why are you always having to go save the day? Like there was a point in time a couple years ago where on Sunday I got a text, and on Monday I was in Cincinnati, like drove overnight to get there because we lost a person. And so it was like always day saving, I call it. But I
think let me stop you right there, because most entrepreneurs have that. We get that same kick out of that, and it's one thing that holds us back. And it's like, no, I don't want to scale, I don't want to grow, because I like being the hero.
And the rugged individualist.
Yeah, it's like, I don't mind, I'll go save the day or whatever. I feel like if we're being honest with ourselves, we kind of do get a little hit off of that,
Oh yeah, totally. Like the pride of being the go-to. There's something about it. There's something about it.
But you recognized it, and you also recognized that if you wanted to scale, if you wanted to grow, that couldn't keep happening.
Yeah. So in all of our businesses today, one of the things I've been working on over the last couple of years is firing myself. And so either I bring on a business partner or finding the right general manager that basically acts like an owner, behaves like an owner. We try to compensate them a lot like an owner so that they are running the show. I'm more of their CFO at that point and their coach and a consultant. But I can't, especially with like a physical operation, even when it was maid service attached to our window cleaning business, the focal points in how much work is in running a business like that. If you don't have the right manager that can take that workload, and that, like, we ended up selling that home cleaning division, because home cleaning and window cleaning, actually, like, the customers aren't that similar, which was kind of a surprise to us. But that was one of the things we found out when we tried to play those off of each other a little bit. The employees are so different in that case that the cultures were different and it didn't blend, and I couldn't find a manager. So it was like, if you can't find a manager, that means you're the manager. Well, ain't nobody got time for that. So the biggest thing is finding the person that can be the operator of it.
So then once you find that person, obviously you can do checklists and processes and stuff like that. But even then, I've noticed that it's really hard to get someone to do the things exactly how you want to get them done. And our OCD takes over, and then we're like, I don't know, I just can't take it. What have you done to, like, in a sense, let go and be okay with someone else not doing it the Dan way, or not being as perfect as a company as you want to be, but still, like, it's still excellent to the customer, but not to your expectations, I guess?
It's helped a lot with our cleaning companies because they're remote. And so I can't be there in the weeds. Like, it forces me to be out. I think that my inability to do that was part of the reason why I couldn't find the right person for home cleaning here. I just couldn't build the right systems and processes for them. And I was already too distracted with other things, with multiple locations. And I think at one time I had like 20 direct reports. And so trying to like keep tabs on everybody and make sure everybody had enough Dan like to go around is like, oh shit, like I've made this impossible for everybody, not just me. Now that I've screwed that up enough with my general manager on bookkeeping, we overlap a little bit. But I very much count on, I give them frameworks, and I very much count on them to pull me back in. Now, if we see something like hitting the rails and not going the way we want it to and starting to get out of bounds, like we'll jump on a Zoom and start figuring it out, whether it's, we're not executing on something or we're not, I don't know. I don't have a great example. This hasn't happened yet, but
you guys are doing so good. I mean, yeah. Why jump on a Zoom?
We're not doing well because of me. We're doing well because she's just so good at saying like, all right, Dan, I need you for this and I don't need you for that. And so part of it is finding the right person. Like it's always got to be the right person. And we kind of stumbled into each other. We had some mutual contacts, and it's amazing how fast your business can grow when you can get out of the way and let somebody else run the processes and figure out what the business needs so you can be the visionary of it and say, here's where we're going, and let's all charge towards this direction. She lets me do that so I can come on here and do this with you. And in the meantime, if one of our 14 bookkeepers has a question, they're going to her, not to me. She's running the day-to-day. So like part of it is staying out of their way. Part of it is just, it's got to be that right person that knows the line of when they need you and when they're like, Dan, stay the hell out of here. We got this. We don't need you. And she's so good at that. It's I didn't have to teach her that. She just has a great sense for it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, stick around because I do have a ton more, and I've only got one more little segment with you. So, guys, stick around, and we'll be right back with Dan, and we're going to ask him about some of the offerings that he has for business owners as well. Be right back.
We want to thank the lawn and landscape community for making GIE Plus Expo their place to reunite as an industry. Like a family reunion, thousands of dealers, landscape pros, and contractors return annually to network, share ideas, learn best practices, and make new friends. It all starts Wednesday, October 20th with the opening reception and continues into the night with free concerts in downtown Louisville. At the show, you'll have the opportunity to share experiences and brainstorm new approaches to your business challenges with friends and like-minded professionals. You don't want to miss the opening keynote, Secrets of Being an Effective Leader, presented by retired Navy 4-star Admiral James Stavridis. Register now at GIE-expo.com, and we'll see you October 20th through the 22nd in Louisville.
Hey, landscape pros, are you tired of digging through rocks and roots and breaking shovels in the process? Then it's time you checked out the Geo Ripper 616. It's a landscaper's dream with the Makita 6 Series 2-cycle engine producing over 4 horsepower of raw performance. The 616 digs deep in up to 16 inches of the toughest soils. Lighting, landscape, and irrigation contractors already love this improved lightweight trencher with its ability to get in and get out faster, easier, and with less ground disturbance. And you will too. This redesigned Geo Ripper 616 comes with 2 heavy-duty digging chains and a whole mess of helpful extras. To learn more about the Geo Ripper and how it can help you out in the field, visit georipper.com today.
Hey everybody, Wayne Vowles, the Prophet, your host of Profit Time here on Turf's Up Radio. If you listen to my show, you know I'm all about profit. As an industry, profit is something we fail to meet most of the time. If you're working hard but not seeing the results that you deserve, Profits Unlimited is here to help. We offer processes and systems designed specifically to make your company more successful, more profitable, and certainly more efficient. When you're ready to take your company to the next level, reach out to me at profitsareus.com. That's profitsareus.com. And don't forget to turn into Profit Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio. And we are joined with Mr. Dan Platta. Dan, I wanted to ask you, I started off the show talking about pricing, and you are the finance guy. So I hope I don't set myself up for failure here, but what do you think of my comments? What do you think? I mean, is it realistic? Is it that easy? Can someone just raise their prices by 10% today?
Yeah, the beauty of our industry too is that when you raise your price, now like if you have a recurring service, then more communication is required. But we're doing a 15% price increase in our maid services right now.
And that's on the recurring though.
That's on recurring. That's new clients already are getting it. Existing clients are about to get it.
Let me clarify too. And I do mean, and I'm not even necessarily addressing the recurring. I'm just talking like whatever if you bid something today at 5,000, the next job that you're going to go do totally brand new, just do 10% more.
Yeah.
But even when it comes to recurring, I mean, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Recurring, it's harder because we have 1,000 clients that need to get these emails and get these letters. When you're just doing a one-time type of service, you can change your price right now. Like you don't need to wait for anything. You can literally do it now. And the next phone call, you sell at the new price. So it's excellent for that more, I'll call it transactional. I don't like the word transactional for that because we know customer service is a huge part of what we do, but the one-time sale model, we raised our price by about 10% this spring, and for our exterior stuff, we're kind of on the verge of doing another one. We're just kind of waiting to see what else is going on. We know we're pretty competitive, but it's like that, especially in that type of business, at any point in time, it should be part of your like mental checklist of, do I have capacity to raise prices? And like you said, you will never regret a price increase. Your customers can always absorb it more than you think they will. Yeah, you're going to lose a couple. And so we tend as business owners to focus on the couple that are going to like cause us the most pain, but it's like 1% to 2% of our client list. 90% of people are going to be like, oh yeah, I get it. You're running a small business and the world's changing. So you're trying to change with it. So yeah, I'm all about it. I loved what you said. Like you can lose a pile of your clients and still make at least as much money. And those clients are generally, in my experience, the most customer service sucking ones. They soak up so much of your resources because they're always nickel and dime and stuff. They always want you to come back out, and then they're trying to get you to do this for free and that for free. Like that bottom 10% of your client list generally pays you the least and requests the most from you. Work them out of the system. Work them out. Raise those prices.
And that's a good point because honestly, when in the lighting world, we have like maintenance plans, and the way we would do it, they would get 2 scheduled maintenance visits throughout the year, but they also got unlimited service calls, which, I mean, unlimited service calls that, it could add up, right? For most people, our average was like 2.2 visits. So most people weren't calling us the third time. Some people were calling us not only the third time, but the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. So we would create our top 10 worst customers. And I mean, seriously, a price increase just eliminates those real quick, It's the easiest way to break up with someone.
Yeah. You don't have to be like, sorry, we can't serve you anymore. You can be like, well, I'd still go there if they paid me 3 times as much. So I'll just price increase them that much. And that way, if they're going to pay me $500 to show up for an hour, I guess I can come out for that.
What sucks is when they take you up on your offer and they're like, okay, what?
Yeah, you got to make sure you price it high enough where you're like, okay, I'll come out for that.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to ask you about is it called Blue Sky Admin Services?
Yeah, Blue Skies. We in a funny way, we messed around with trying to come up with a name for our admin service company. We were like doing it as part of Blue Skies. And like this entity has existed for a long time, probably 8 years. We just never did it for outside companies. We were doing all of these things for our own companies. And then a few years ago, people started asking us to do it for them. And we're like, well, how does this work? And they're like, well, what do we pay you? And I was like, well, a case of beer sounds good. But so yeah, it's Blue Skies Services. Like it's Blue Sky Services LLC. We added an admin in there so that people know that it's the admin side of it. But man, we messed around in circles with like Plow Horse Outsource and like all these different names. And we're like, let's just call ourselves Blue Skies. Like it still works. And most people have heard of us already in our industry. So we'll just stick with it.
Well, so let's talk about the services that you offer. I love your business model because one of the frustrations that almost every business owner has is every time you go to hire someone, it's like you have to educate them on how your business works and how it runs and why things are important and stuff like that. And every time you hire, they just don't seem to get it. But what's cool is you have that background because you've not only had those businesses, but you still have them. So you get what it means to be able to what these business owners are expecting. But what did you start with? Was it bookkeeping?
Recruiting, I think, was the first one. Bookkeeping and recruiting kind of happened at the same time, where we realized, like, oh, we actually, the first request that we got was a recruiting request. It was just like a friend of ours that said, like, hey, I need some help in my business. Can you guys like throw some ads out on Indeed for me? And we did, and we got him like hundreds of applications to the point where he was like, all right, like make it stop. And so that was the one where it was like, literally we were like, yeah, just buy us a beer next time we see you. Like, I don't know what to charge you. That was, we just threw an ad out there and posted it and managed that for you. So we kind of started with recruiting, but as the minute that happened, it changed our mindset on our admin business in general, because we always only looked at it as an internal facing business. And so we looked at it and said, well, the things that we found that scaled the best for us across our locations were recruiting. We could do that from anywhere in the world, like, didn't have to be on site. Marketing, digital marketing, we can, do from anywhere. And then bookkeeping, we had all of those systems built internally. And so just started flipping the business model and said, like, how do we charge for this stuff? How do we organize our work so that somebody can go sell it? Like, internally, we don't need to sell it, right? Now we need to like get on shows and podcasts and talk about what we do. So how do we like get out there and tell people about what we're up to? And then how do we execute it? Like, we know how to execute it internally, but how does that change when we're selling it and charging people for it externally? So recruiting and bookkeeping kind of happened at the same time. Marketing, we've never pushed because there's so many people doing marketing out there. We will add it, and I'm actually working on an acquisition now where maybe we'll add it in if that goes through. We've like dabbled with it, but especially right now, the clients aren't the hard part to find. It's the employees. So we're just so laser focused on the recruiting side of it. And bookkeeping's so easy because everybody hates it, but everybody generally needs it. Nobody wants to do their own book. So it's like, we don't have to sell bookkeeping. We just have to tell people we do it. And they're like, oh, and you guys run these types of businesses? Well, then sign me up, because my accountant doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. And blue skies will, because we also run these businesses. So that's kind of where we're sitting today. And we do, say we have like 200 bookkeeping clients, and recruiting goes up and down, but somewhere between like 100 and 200 recruiting clients at any given point in time. So
okay,
it's scaled pretty quick over the last few years and get to help a whole lot of businesses, run smoother, hopefully.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. These are real problems for businesses, and they're the reason they're a problem is because no one likes to do them and no one's good at them, and so they just get put on the back burner, and that's it. So let's talk in the least amount or the least boring way possible. Why is bookkeeping so important? Like, why tracking the numbers and doing all this stuff? Because it just sounds so lame. Like when you say bookkeeping.
Yeah, it's such a crappy word. It's such a, like, I don't know if the word bookkeeping has always sucked right from the get-go, or if just the connotation of it created the suck over time.
It's definitely earned its stripes.
Yeah. It's like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everybody would agree it's just a boring ass word. Here's how I think of it. Like, bookkeeping in a funny way is one of the things in your business that you don't need to do. You have to pay your taxes. So like somebody needs to, be a CPA and turn stuff in at the end of the year. You also need to pay your bills, send your invoices, do payroll. Like, that stuff tends to get grouped with bookkeeping, but I'll say that's not really bookkeeping. That's like accounting process stuff in the office, and then CPA once a year do taxes. Bookkeeping to me is a tool just for the business owner so that they have clarity on the decisions that they're making. And decisions are power, right? The money that we make is purely a reflection of how good of decisions we make. So bookkeeping, in a funny way, is the one thing you don't need to do. And the one, it gets put on the back burner because your employees don't care if you do bookkeeping. Your customers don't care if you do bookkeeping. Your CPA might dislike all the bank statements you drop on their desk at the end of the year, but they can do your taxes with bank statements. Bookkeeping is purely for the business owner. And as service business owner, we always end up putting ourselves last. We're always running circles out there for our employees, and we're always running circles out there for our customers. And we tend to put ourselves last. So bookkeeping is a way to kind of put yourself first, get data as soon as possible. We do bookkeeping on a weekly basis for our clients because we want them to know like right now what's happening, not what happened last month. They need to know now what's going on in their business. And we try to organize it in a way that's purely designed to get them the best information to make the best decisions possible as fast as possible. So we're really we really nerd out on how we organize their books so they don't have to know how to read a huge P&L statement. They can look at what we're sending them, and it's like 5 lines, and it's based on how they make decisions, and it's color coded red, yellow, or green. You know, classic stoplight. They can tell really quick where the pain points of their business are.
That's awesome, man. So bookkeeping, super boring, but you guys make it worthwhile. I mean, I know you say it's not needed, but I would say that's not necessarily true either. I think you do need it so you can make those decisions. And then on recruiting, why is it so hard to hire people? Like, why is that?
Man,
they're fine people.
I think especially right now, and I don't think this is going to go away. People want to be like, it's sexier to be working at a computer. And so it's hard for us to find technician labor. It's not that hard to find an office manager. You know, if you need somebody to do your desk job or maybe even sales, like those roles fill a little bit faster right now. The technician labor is getting difficult. And part of it is we're not competing with our industry anymore. When somebody goes and searches for a job, they're not searching to be a landscape lighting technician. Nobody has ever typed that into Indeed, Ryan. I promise you.
Go check. Do your homework.
So they don't search for our jobs. They search for general labor or warehouse or this or that. And they're getting sucked up by the Walmarts and the Amazons and a lot of these other places that they know the brand, they see the brand, they know who they are. They don't know our business. And we when we write job ads, we need to sneak in and look like one of them in a way, and be sexy and be like offering signing bonuses or something that catches their attention. And we'll actually write job ads, even if we're hiring like a window cleaning job or a home cleaning job. In the job description or the job title will be general labor or warehouse or something that's going to intercept what they think they're typing in. Because you're not recruiting. It's just like marketing. You're not marketing to them to try to convince them of who you are. You're trying to intercept them and then get them to like walk through the door, right? You're not running down the street chasing them around. You need them to come to you and find you, but you need to like sneak in there and intercept them on what they think they're searching for. And then hopefully like, oh, I never thought about being a landscape lighting technician. Looks like it pays pretty well and sounds like a really fun company to work for.
So do you recommend, because I really like what you say, because I do think that people see it and they're like, landscape lighting technician. Well, that's electricity. I don't want anything to do with that. Mm-hmm. But in reality, they're never going to touch electricity getting started anyway. And mm-hmm. when they learn how safe it is and everything else, right? So would you recommend maybe not even saying landscape lighting technician and maybe just calling it a general labor or apprentice job or something like that?
Yeah, the word apprentice tends to work really well, especially like if they are going to be a trainee type of role. I love that word apprentice. But I wouldn't use landscape lighting because it depends on the platform, but you're really going for what they're searching for, not what you're trying to tell them they're going to do. Later on in the job description, you can get more into like the what is this job. But when we write a job description, we like to have it be why, how, and then what. Why isn't because I want to be a landscape lighting technician. It's generally about I get to work outside. I get to every day is different. No nights and weekends. Like it's all the perks of the business in that role. The how is like, here's how you actually like day to day show up to do your job. The what is, oh, by the way, you're working for Ryan Lee and you're doing landscape lighting. And so you kind of work it that way. It's almost like exactly how Apple would sell a phone, really. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah, if you guys are listening, I mean, look Dan up because, I mean, it's bookkeeping, it's recruiting, and now marketing. And it's going to be mainly like digital marketing stuff, right?
Yeah, all the Google stuff, all the website stuff, probably some social media stuff. And I really want to replicate some influencer marketing stuff and use social media to our advantage. So that's something that I'd like to be able to offer as well.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I love your advice on the recruiting. I think it's one of the biggest problems and challenges that every business owner is facing right now is finding good people to work. So if I owned a business right now, I'd be hitting you up for sure to help out on the recruiting end. One thing I always preach, and tell me what you think about this, a lot of my hires, because I could always hire an office manager off Indeed, but that was it. I was not good at writing those things like you are at recruiting. And I would try to do different things, but it just didn't work out for me. So I just always hired from, I would talk to if my waiter impressed me, I'd be like, dude, you need to come work for me. I hired a guy who sold me 4 trucks one day. He's still with the company, been there like 8-9 years. Hired a guy in the tire shop one time. So just my strategy is like always be hiring, always be recruiting. Like you've got to keep an open mouth. And most people that you want to hire already have a job. They're already working.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying don't hire Dan, by the way. I would do that stuff, especially the strategies you talked about. But I'm just always encouraging people to just, always be talking to everybody and let them know you're always hiring, even if you don't have a need today. And you're like, well, I'll wait because I'm not ready for them for 3 months. It might take 3 months to find someone. So start today.
There's only one thing wrong about what you said there, Ryan. And I don't mean to make that a definitive statement, but I think you'll agree when I make this correction. It's not always be hiring. It's always be recruiting. It's the ABCs. Always be recruiting.
Yeah. Oh, that is sick. ABC. I didn't know how to get that in there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was always be closing. And then I was like, always be Hing. Now I got it, man. I love that. Always be recruiting.
Yeah, but exactly what you said. Like everybody out there should have a business card, not hey, here's who I am, but like, hey, here's all the cool things about our company that you're going to love. Here's our career page. Come and check us out. You have to be like digital recruiting is kind of like digital marketing. You can't grow a business just by running Google ads. If you're truly going to grow a big badass business, you got to be doing the yard signs. You got to be doing the flyers. You got to be doing the EDDM, like the boots on the ground stuff that's getting in front of people. It can't only be a digital game. Digital is super important, just like Indeed ads are super important, or Facebook ads are super important, or Craigslist. But you have to be out boots on the ground doing real active things and getting in front of people. And that's like, think about how many applications you didn't have to look at to talk to the guy at the tire shop and be like, yep, you would work. It's like you're in an interview in every interaction that you're in with anybody out in the world. So hand them a business card and try to get them to come work for you. They're secretly interviewing you too. So I love that. Just always be on the prowl. You're not being sleazy. You're doing them a favor if they get to come work for you. So you got to be doing that boots on the ground stuff for sure.
Always be recruiting. All right. Well, if anyone wants to get a hold of you, reach out. How do they get in touch with you?
Go to yourblueskies.com. I'm going to throw it. Let's see. I could throw it in the Facebook feed. That'd be a place to throw it.
Sounds good.
Let me drop it in there. Go check out our website. There's a whole bunch of free stuff, free tools, free bookkeeping templates, free budgets, all the fun stuff, and a recruiting blueprint that you can get for free out there too.
Okay, cool. And then do you have a free Facebook group as well?
I do. We got a couple of them. We have Bookkeeping, Beer, and BS, which I do every Wednesday night and just nerd out on finance, like we're hanging out talking at the bar. And then we have Blue Collar Recruiting that we usually go live on Thursdays and focus more on the employee side of things. So cool. Hopefully soon we have a marketing one too as we get that thing rolling.
Awesome. Well, man, I can't thank you enough. You shared a bunch of sweet knowledge, a lot of good information. Really appreciate you coming on today, man. You bet. Thanks for having me. No problem. All right, guys, stick around. I'm going to finish the show. That went so well, we almost got to the end. So I gotta hurry and do this quick break so that I can share my lighting tip of the week at the end. All right, good luck. You can do it. Okay, guys, we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Jeff Hester, senior contributor and co-host of the Weekend Review here on Turfs Up Radio. Can't make it to major green industry events, but want to stay connected? Don't worry, we have you covered. Be sure to download the Turfs Up Radio app or visit our website. We'll bring you the live coverage you need to keep you up to date with everything that happens in our industry. And to find out where we'll be next, simply visit greenindustryevents.com. That's greenindustryevents.com. And always remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turf's Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Isn't it nice when the weather cooperates and crews complete jobs on time and on budget? But weather can cause delays, and with paper route sheets, jobs get lost in the shuffle. That's why you need Aspire Crew Control scheduling software, an easy-to-use, flexible, and affordable solution that allows you to shift schedules with a single click. Try Aspire Crew Control for free at aspirecrewcontrol.com.
All right, welcome back to Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio. Man, that was a great interview, and I kind of lost track of time, so I'm going to finish up here with my lighting tip of the week before we call it a day. My lighting tip of the week is you guys have to schedule in. This is so important. Everything I talk about, this is really, really important. You have to schedule time to work on your business every single week. You've got to schedule in the time. Listen, if you had the opportunity to go bid a $20,000 job, you would move everything around. If you knew you were going to meet an athlete or celebrity, you would make sure that that was going to happen, right? And honestly, you've got to have that same mentality to schedule in time to work on your business. Like, this is that important, and nothing can take place of it, right? So you got to tell everybody about this. You got to tell your employees, your spouse, like your friends, and be like, do not bother me during this time. And if your spouse calls, then, you know, it's okay if they're in the hospital or something, that's fine. But it better be important, because other than that, like, you need to set this time aside to work on your business. And a lot of us think that working on our business is putting out fires. Oh, I was going to help this guy, or I was going to do this, or help this employee. Like, that's not working on your business. Working on your business is figuring out how to prevent the fire from starting, right? So what problems are you facing in your business today? Make a list of the top 10 things that you are struggling with. What's the one thing that you're like, man, if I could just solve this, this would change everything. This would change everything. That is what you're trying to solve. That is what you want to spend your time working on your business. This is for yourself. This is for your business. This is for your family. Okay? So this is what you need to do. And really only a handful of you listening or watching are going to do this. It's that hard to do. And honestly, it sucks. It hurts me to know that, but I just know that's how it works. Because this is so important. This is literally, you can learn all this stuff. You can go read books. You can watch videos. You can do whatever. But if you don't implement and take the time to grow your business, take the time to work on your business, and really make action items and just step after step after step. And as business owners, our job is to solve problems. So make a list of those problems and start solving them. Stop lying to yourself. I mean, that is my message to you today. And stop taking the easy way out, because we are human. We are naturally going to take the path of least resistance. That's normal. But it's only trickery. Okay, it's trickery. We think it's the easy way because we're, human, and we're like, oh, I'll just do this. It's much easier to just go put out a fire, because then I get that hero role, and then I feel like I solved something, than it is to figure out how to improve ourselves, how to improve our business. So we take that, but then we trick ourselves, and then 10 years goes by, and we're in the same place that we were before. So that is my, that is my advice. That is my lighting tip of the week for you. I really want to encourage you guys to schedule in 1 to 2 hours each week. So every Friday at 10 a.m., Chris, okay, whatever day, whatever time of the day, whatever day of the week, but schedule it in and make it that much of a priority. I promise you, your future self will thank you. So, guys, I want to thank you guys all for your support. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys being here live on Turfs Up Radio, subscribing and listening to the podcast. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you later.